Chrissy Teigen and John Legend are the perfect couple we never knew needed to finally be in love. Their love story is one I will be telling my kid when I have one because man, if it's a girl, she needs to learn how to be funny, witty, the best mom, best cook, and a great lover like Chrissy. And if it's a boy, he needs to learn to be the sexiest man alive, the best dad, a talented musician, and best lover like John Legend. For now, since I'm not a father yet, let me tell you the love story of Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, now known as people's sexiest man alive. So let's get to it. John was famous from the very beginning, and now he is people's sexiest man alive, so we are not going to start with his side of the story, cause that would be just touring, concerts, awards, red carpets, pretty models, and all. But Chrissy Teigen's life was different. Chrissy was born in Utah, but because her father was an electrician, they had to move very often. Finally, their last destination was Huntington Beach, California, where their family settled. Teigen became a cheerleader at school, and soon she started attracting some attention. One day, when she was working for a retail gig at a surf shop, a photographer came in and asked if he could take some bikini photos of her. Her dad insisted on going with her to the beach to help with the whole photography session. That is how supportive the family was about this. He even held their light reflectors. And this is how Teigen landed her first campaign with Billabong. Later, the same cameraman who loved Chrissy's vibe was hired to direct John Legend's 2007 music video Stereo. So he showed Chrissy's pictures to John, and the singer thought she would be a perfect fit as the leading lady for his video. Once she was on the set, she went to John's dressing room to meet him, and she caught him while he was ironing his underwear. I know, right? What celebrity does their own ironing anyways? Chrissy thought the same, so she asked the question we all have in mind, and of course, the answer was yes. Of course he does his own ironing. It's John Legend we're talking about. I know that at this very moment, some of you ladies out there here were thinking that she knew right then and there that that was the one, but not so fast. Let's stick to their pace. She gave him a hug, probably just to thank him or to make an impression. You know what I'm talking about. Then they went on the set to record the music video. The entire 12 to 14 hours that they were together on set, she was in her underwear and he was in a full suit. So once the shooting was done, she went to his hotel room to say goodbye. And as you might have guessed, they never did say goodbye that night. Well, despite the fun they had that night, to this day, Chrissy hates her appearance in the music video. She told Como magazine that she's doing this fake modelly dancing with the most dead eyes you've ever seen in a human. But who cares about that, cause she made the impression on John. Back then, John had a reputation for hooking up with models, and Chrissy was not looking for anything serious, so they did not label their relationship. And not long after the shoot, John went on tour, which meant that they were no longer physically together, so the only choice they had to keep in touch was through text messages. Since there were no labels, John could be with anyone he wanted, right? And as they started talking on the phone and texting more, Chrissy grew stronger feelings for him. Playing the cool girl, Chrissy tried to ignore the pictures of John with other ladies such as Jessica White on the red carpet, but behind closed doors, she was reading gossip blogs to find out information on him and this former girl. At the time, people were saying that John was in the closet and was using ladies as his beard, but that was nothing to worry about for Chrissy. Things got serious between the two very quickly. John fell in love with her over the phone because she was good with her words. He started to see her sense of humor and wit through all of those messages. As they talked on the phone more, John started to fall in love with how engaging, witty, and funny she was, and that it was when he started to know that this was the kind of person that he wanted to have around a lot. On Chrissy's side, she wanted to let him be himself for the whole time. She believed that the worst thing she could do was to try to lock him down early on. That would make him think that there is so much more out there, so she played it cool for a long time. She never even asked him to label the relationship they had. Meantime, Chrissy worked half the year in Miami, and they would meet in between tours whenever they could. She was busy with her modeling career, sleeping in the living room of an apartment she shared with 6 other models. But the modeling business wasn't really that blooming back then. She would be getting offers like being the random girl on the cell phone in the background. They technically made nothing and partied very hard. Chrissy had no credit cards, no bank account, and it didn't even occur to her to ask her dad for money. Occasionally though, John would wire some money for her, and whenever he was in Miami, he'd book a room at the luxurious hotel chain, the Ritz-Carlton, and once he was gone, Chrissy would invite her roommates there to have fun with the minibar and use the hotel pool. After a while, Chrissy joined John on tour so that they could be close to each other, not knowing what was waiting for them. One day, John got sick. He was feeling completely bummed and stressed out, so he decided that he could no longer be in a relationship. He thought that he was happier being single. And when he tried to break up with Chrissy, her response was one word: no. She knew that John's decision came from a place other than the relationship not working. It was the stress of having to cancel a show. He had never been in a serious relationship, so he didn't know how to handle it well. Their breakup lasted only one day, and they got back together again. In 2007, the couple took their first trip to Lake Como in Italy together, and it was during that trip that Chrissy knew she wanted to spend the rest of her life with John. A boat tour guide took them to a little spot on the lake and told them to make a wish. She asked for John to be the man she marries and has children with, and we all know that her dream came true. Soon, they made their first red carpet appearance together in the 2008 Grammys, and then the whole world knew. And after 4 years of serious dating, in December of 2011, John planned a vacation to the Maldives, but things did not start as magically as we might have imagined. They got in a very big fight in the car on their way to the airport because they had already opened their Christmas presents, and Chrissy was not happy with a cookbook and a crock pot that she had received. And while Chrissy was angry, the whole time John was asking her to wait. Wait for what? Well, let me tell you. So as they were passing through the airport security, the guard wanted to look through John's carry-on bag, and they wanted to look into a particular box. John explained on Oprah's Next Chapter that Chrissy was standing right next to him, and he was thinking to himself, "Oh my god, I've hidden it so well this whole time. Now we're just about to get to the Maldives and she's gonna find out I have a ring in this box, and it's gonna ruin the surprise and I'll have to get on my knees in the airport." But it all ended peacefully and Chrissy didn't find out. Once they got to the Maldives, John had planned everything. He knew how much she loves Christmas, so he had planned a beautiful Christmas for her. Everything got to the next level when the waiter came out with a silver dome for dessert. He opened up the dome and a ton of arugula fell out. Chrissy saw the little box in there and her heart stopped. Her dream had come true. There was no big grand speech or anything, but this whole plan was lovely and sweet enough for her to say yes. The couple tied the knot in Lake Como, the same place she wished for him to become her husband. But legally, then they got married in America at the courthouse with Irina Shayk as the witness. And now it was time for the next big step. Chrissy and John were ready to start their own family, but faced fertility problems. Teigen openly talked about her fertility issues on an episode of Fab Life. They spent years trying to conceive, but it didn't happen until they decided to go with in vitro. In October of 2015, Chrissy announced that John and her were expecting their first child after all the struggles they went through. And after their first daughter, Luna Simone Stevens, was born on April 14th of 2016, Chrissy faced some new challenges. Teigen developed postpartum depression after her firstborn. Getting out of bed was difficult for her. She had lost her appetite and she had turned very short-tempered with people. When she was not working, she would stay at home all the time. Most of her days were spent on the exact same spot, on the couch. She even started keeping comfy clothes in the pantry so she didn't have to go upstairs to her bed. Once she was diagnosed with postpartum depression and anxiety, she started taking an antidepressant, which helped her get better. During this whole time, John was there for her. Sometimes he would even sleep on the couch with her for 4 nights in a row, but they made it through. And in his interview with People, John said that it was his job to do the best that he could to support Chrissy through her toughest time and understand what she was going through. Cause as a man, you don't know internally what it feels like. You should read about it and understand what it really is just to be there to help. You need to be present and you need to be compassionate. This guy for sure is setting the standards too high. He is actually the definition of a perfect husband. After another round of IVF treatment, Teigen got pregnant with their second child. She announced the pregnancy in the cutest way with the help of Luna. Their second child, Miles Theodore Stevens, was born on May 17th of 2018. They say that through thick and thin, right? Well, I guess this love story showcases that perfectly. A couple of cookbooks, a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, and huge success from Chrissy's side and from John's. John actually became a legend and made history as the first African American man to ever achieve the EGOT, the EGOT, so the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award status, and was just chosen as 2019's People's Sexiest Man Alive. They definitely do bring out the best in each other. Their support is literally unconditional, even when Chrissy tweets things like, "My secret is out, I have fulfilled my dream of having boned People's Sexiest Man Alive," an honor, when people announce that John Legend is the sexiest man alive. Even right now that Chrissy's mother lives with them, John is completely fine with it. He confessed that in the recent Vanity Fair's lie detector test video, they make us feel like if you have love, respect, and admiration, that's all you need to have your own version of happily ever after. This recipe is actually John's recipe for a beautiful marriage. So you guys, if you want to have a beautiful relationship like them, follow John's lead. Aren't they the actual couple goal? What do you guys think? Do you believe that John Legend and Chrissy Teigen's love story is one that will last forever? Let's talk about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with Curious Sips. Until next time.